if you're in the path of South Carolina come the tournament, I'm so sorry for you.
Welcome to Her Sports Convo with Ashleigh Wilson.
Hey y'all, welcome back. Crazy to see you here again. Hope you had a good week last week. Hope you have a good week this week. Today's Monday for me, hence why we're out here and not in the room, because the sun is still out while we're recording this podcast. I'm just as shocked as you are. But I've had so much joy, feeling, and emotions about the things that have occurred this week that I couldn't wait till Tuesday. So, first and foremost, if you're new here, I've been a Tar Heel fan my entire life. Sincerely, thanks to my mother. And Saturday night was the very best day to be a Tar Heel. Like, when I tell you, we say the chant, we use the hashtag, whatever, blase, blase, blase. It was truly endowed on Saturday evening as we ruined the retirement party. We ruined the shenanigans. Because so much happened. Like, where do I even want to start? Let's see here. First of all, can we talk about how technically, yes, it was his curtain call. It was his last home game in Cameron Indoor Stadium, blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares. But it was also like 3 player senior nights. And there was no mention of them. One was Theo John, the guy who tried to tackle Caleb Love. The other was Caleb Dressley, who was a 5-star recruit in 2019, reclassed and redshirted to be a part of Duke team and got maybe a total of 20 minutes of game time his entire career at Duke. No mention of that either. But we know what we heard. We know what we saw. And on the second note of that, the fact that they brought all these mid-level, who knows who, people to celebrate Coach K's final game at Cameron. Yes, we saw Grayson Allen, Christian Laettner, Grant Hill, Carlos Boozer, the 9 people we knew who they were there. But then they brought in the other 75. Who are you, broski? Who may you be? And the part that really got me, the part that really I could not wrap my head around, was the fact that he said at the beginning of the year, I don't want this to be about me. I don't want it to be a whole ta-da. But you're going to have shirts made. Not only shirts, you had full-on quarter zips made with your family crest up there with the title, The Brotherhood. The Brotherhood don't only show up on your last game. The Brotherhood would have the actual stars in which you created showed up, aside from the ones who retired 20 years ago. And I know you can talk about Grayson Allen, but Grayson Allen is not a star. He is the complete opposite of a star. It just blew my mind about the dramatics. And even when every time it went to commercial and ESPN had the graphic came up and it was Coach K's curtain call. Just say you want it to be about you. Don't sit up here and lie and say, I don't want it to be about me. Come on now. And because you were spitting out all that foolishness, UNC beat you at your own house. And not only did they beat you, they swept you off your own court. And then he had the nerve to yell at his own fans. These people sat outside for 2 months during multiple snowstorms, hailstorms, rain, because it rained for 2 weeks straight at one point, to be here for this. And you had the nerve to just yell at them and be like, oh, no, don't cheer. Don't be excited. This is unacceptable. If I was them, I would have been so mad. But they're too delusional to realize, wait, I should be mad. No one should treat me like this. We're supposed to be friends. We're supposed to be homies. But that's them, not me. You know what I mean? After all that, we got the win. Rush Franklin, let me tell you, one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, as well as one of the most terrifying, because one thing about me, I don't like crowds. But the adrenaline in which I had forced me to get into the crowd. And then about 3 to 5 minutes after, I realized, the adrenaline went down and my brain started to activate again, was like, sis, you don't like to be in the middle of crowds. And then I was like, oh, gotta go. But yeah, it was cold outside, but I felt so hot because there were so many bodies in front of me. I felt like I was in a whirlpool. Like, they were just taking me away. It was something. Honestly, great moment, but also slightly terrifying. But unfortunately, I left before the bus came through, which, makes a lot of sense because they said to get out the street. But, hindsight's always 20/20. But I know I don't really talk about Carolina basketball because, I try to act like I'm not biased. But we all know I'm biased. But, yeah, I couldn't not mention that as I literally drove all the way to campus today just to get a Daily Tar Heel so I can remember this moment for the rest of my life. So, shout out to those guys. And whoever was on the ACC, all ACC awards list committee, you're absolute garbage because how does a Rondo Baycott not win Player of the Year, but gets the most votes for the all ACC first team by like 12 points or 12 votes, whichever one you say. But he doesn't win the all ACC Player of the Year. That's confusing. But live your life. Just know you didn't do it right. You didn't do your job correctly. Ma'am, sir, they, them, there. However you choose to use your pronouns. And I mean, since we're talking about basketball, let's go over to the women's basketball side, as that's literally all I watched on Sunday, except from the one NBA game I watched, because there was a little break in between there. But the first one that really, did me in was Louisville getting upset over Miami in like the quarterfinals. And when that happened, I knew, this is going to be a week. This is going to be a week. This is going to be a day. People are going to possibly lose some money, some bets, some friends over the things that are which going to occur this week. You know what I mean? And so when that happened, if you weren't watching, Miami was basically, they played all the rounds. They had no buys. They played like 4 games in a row because they even made it to the championship, which they end up losing to NC State, which is not shocking. But them beating Louisville, it was a better beater. And Louisville literally could not figure out how to make a ball go through the basket. I was like, okay, March is here. It started and the craziness has begun. Let me strap in because I don't think I'm ready. And I still wasn't ready because, oh my God. But after that happened, then we follow up 1 to 2 days later, and South Carolina lost to Kentucky. Now, some people would say I was sad South Carolina lost to Kentucky because I am a big Aaliyah Boston fan. Like Aaliyah Boston, Dawn Staley. As you know, I've always loved Asia Wilson. And so the fact that they lost was not bad because I wanted them, Dawn to get another ring. They had to cut down to, continue on this road of being absolutely dominant in the SEC. But the main reason why I was upset that they lost was because last year in the Final Four, they lost to Stanford in a very close game, last minute call, went down to the wire situation. And I knew they were going to have, eyes of blindness, going for blood the entire tournament. But now we're going to have to deal with that emotion that they're dealing with from last year on top of the fact that they just lost an SEC championship in which they should have won. Because they were up by like 12 points at one point, close to the end. So, yeah. If you're in the path of South Carolina come the tournament, I'm so sorry for you. Like, anything could happen in March. We all know the wind could turn the wrong way one day. But those girls are not, they're not going to be messing around this March because they are too upset and too mad. And gosh, I hate it for whoever is going to be on their side of the bracket because Lord have mercy. Let's talk about Stanford. Like, those girls ran through the Pac-12 like it was a bunch of kindergartners. Every game winning by like 20 points. Haley Jones, I think that's in her name. Sorry, girl, if I got her name wrong. Haley Jones, she ended up winning Tournament Player of the Year and Player of the Year, but who's shocked? Like, it's Haley Jones, you know what I mean? And I'm just shocked by, not only shocked because they are a good team, but the fact that they stay at the top of the league as well as on the top of the SEC and all of women's basketball throughout, the way they won last year and this year and going into the tournament, they're still at that dominant level. It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary because, again, it's a Pac-12 team, so they're not on TV. Well, they're already women's basketball players, so they're not on TV as much as they should be. Looking at you if you know who you are. But they're on Pac-12, so, they're coming on. They're playing games at 8 o'clock their time, but it's almost the next day over here on the East Coast. So they're not getting that recognition aside from that, as well as the people. Obviously, if this is your job to scout them, you're doing that, but you haven't been able to get that hands-on eye view of them until right now, until this week, where you're having a week to prep for basically the entire tournament. So the women's side tournament is going to be crazy. I'm excited. I am over the moon, vowed, joyed for what's going to happen, because I just know it's going to be crazy, as this season has already been bonkers. So why would they go out on the last week or weeks? Yeah, because the tournament lasts like 3 weeks, right? Yeah. So the last like 3 weeks of this season to make it be boring and not fun. So I'm excited. I'm ready to see what happens. And I might or might not be looking at a few in person. But talking about things that are awesomely exciting and amazing, on Friday night, I watched the Michigan and Oklahoma gymnastics meet. And let me tell you guys, now, as I mentioned last week, I think that, again, the gymnast coach should call me so I can help them in their performability in the meet. But when I say Michigan was number 1, Oklahoma was number 2 going into this meet, and they needed to be 1 and 2, because every single stunt, every single bar routine, every single vault, every single beat, when I say these girls were crisp, they were crisp, straight lines, everything. This one girl, she like did a flip and then her hands went in the middle. It was, I don't even know what it was called. It was absolutely insane. Everything was sticking, no moves, no wobbles. It was insane. It was the best gymnastic I have seen meet this entire season, and I've been a faithful watcher of Friday Night Heights, as I said last week. So the Big 12 championship and the SEC championship is March 19th. So y'all need to be tapped in, because we're going to be talking about it. So y'all need to be tapped in, because if it was anything like I saw last Friday, it is going to be absolutely bonkers. And shout out to my girl Jenna Dunn, who plays. Is that correct term? I don't care. We don't use correct terminology over here. But who is a gymnastics on the Oklahoma team. She always leads off on beam. She is arguably my favorite gymnast in collegiate gymnastics right now. So girl, if you're watching this, come on the pod. Let's chat it up. Now, I'm not the kind of person who watches the NFL Combine, because no, that's not me. But good for you if that's you. Live your life. But I just could not, live my life not on the internet for an entire week, and saw that Jordan Davis ran like a 4.78 or something like that, like unofficial time. Well, I think that was the official. The unofficial was like 4.8. 40. Like, that is fast for a man that's almost 400 pounds. Like, I don't know what mine would be, but I'm pretty sure it would be around that time. And I'm not 400 pounds. So congratulations to you. But also, it was like a very good thing for defensive and, what are they called? DBs, cornerbacks, all those good stuff. Like, they had really good numbers. And so they can go ahead and call their families and be like, Mama, we made it. We made it to the league. The dream is coming true. Because, again, I'm not the one drafting them, but those numbers looked really fast to me. And one weird thing about the NFL Combine that I have realized over the past few days is that they measure wide receivers, but the person throwing the ball isn't the person who's going to necessarily be throwing the ball to them on their team. You know what I mean? And I just think that's kind of weird. Because, yeah, you could have Sam Howell throwing you the ball, or Kenny Pickett throwing you the ball here in this combine, or just a random, assistant person throwing the ball to you in this combine. But you could end up on the team with Zach Wilson. You could end up on the team with Baker Mayfield. And they're not going to throw the ball the same. It's not going to be the same chemistry they have. Y'all aren't going to be able to develop that chemistry. So I think it's kind of weird that we judge and give ratings on wide receivers in the combine situation because that's not the person that's going to be throwing the ball when we go into the game. But maybe that's just me because I'm too much of a realist and I think logically about some things too much. And this is not something you're just supposed to take it at face value. And I just don't. Maybe it's just me. Let me know how y'all feel about this because it just never quite made sense to me. The T's have never crossed, the I's have never dotted when it came to this situation when it comes to the NFL Combine. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to mention Amari Cooper being released. Like, isn't that insane? Like, as I say all the time, what in the world are the Cowboys doing? And you know what they're doing? Trying to make money. They're not trying to win. But I understand, you get rid of him, you make like almost $20 million in cap space, which, Jerry could be like, oh, $20 million, I can give that to 4 different people and still get butts and seats, which that's all truly he cares about at this point. Even though he gets upset when they lose, like, you're not making the moves in which to make a winning team. I don't want to say the Rams, but I'm going to say the Rams because we all know the Rams are going to throw their hat in that ring to get Amari Cooper. We all know. They're literally probably not going to have another draft pick until like 2048, but they don't care. I wouldn't care because I'd be like, I ain't going to be here, so who knows? Not my problem. You deal with it. But yeah, that was insane. That was crazy. And if they do it, it's going to really confirm the fact that Jerry does not care about the winning program or the winning sensation of his franchise anymore, which is fine. But just say that's what you're doing so everyone knows, And talking about Jerry's, did you guys watch Winning Time, the Lakers show on Sunday, HBO Max? You can still catch it. It's obviously going to be up there till the end of time, but it was interesting. I liked it, and I know if Jerry West was watching, that man was having a fit because the man who played him was a really good actor and he was doing the job. And yeah, Jerry probably did not like that at all. But the show is very interesting. Obviously, they had we took creative liberty on some things and all facts aren't really factual. Blah, blah, blah. We don't care. That's why I have Google so I can look up, oh, did this really happen? Did some things really occur in which the way the show depicted, aka did Irvin Magic Johnson, really play that basketball game, or that he showed up to an all-white party and wore like a pink shirt and blue jeans. But that's just me. That's just the things I concern myself with. So it's good. You should watch it. Definitely. It was the first episode. They got to lay down the groundwork, but it was still very interesting and very entertaining. So I think it's going to have a good run. There's 9 episodes left. Comes on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, HBO Max. Wow, this really sounds like a commercial and an ad, but Lord knows do I wish it was. And talking about basketball in the NBA, the Rookie of the Year debate is here. Like, we're knocking on the door of the end of the season. And, Cade Cunningham, great choice. Evan Mobley, great choice. Scotty Barnes, great choice. I think we should go back to like we did back in the day when they, split JJ Redick and they had like co-Rookie of the Years. Because I think that's the only way we can give this trophy out and it makes sense. Because they're just too many. And I think I'm going to make the bet to split it between all 3 of them. Like, they might be mad, but I think that would be the right choice to do. Because you got Evan Mobley here leading the Cleveland Cavaliers along with Darius Garland, Isaac Orko, and Jared Allen to being a team people actually want to watch. They were on a national television. They were on a national televised basketball game, and I watched the game. Y'all know if I'm not vibing with it, I just won't tune in because I'm that much of a basketball fan. I am more than a casual because I choose to not waste my time in watching unnecessary basketball games. Y'all constantly putting the Knicks and the Lakers on TV, but we'll get to that one in a second. But like the Cavs are really making a push. Yes, Cade Cunningham pays for the Pistons, and we know what's happening over here. But the times we do see him on TV, killing it, doing amazing, absolutely crushing it. So, and then Scotty Barnes, I watched the Raptors game on Sunday. Like, this man was a man on a mission, a man with a plan. Stan with a plan, Scotty with a plan. Like, divide it between all 3 of them. Who's it going to hurt? I think you're going to be doing more good than bad by dividing it between the 3 of them. Personally, that's my choice. As well as a choice I had is that Carmelo Anthony, I I've always known he was probably one of my favorite basketball personalities, but that really was cemented for me on Saturday was it Saturday? I think it was Saturday. Yeah, I think it was Saturday when they played the Knicks, the Warriors. It was the Warriors. When they played the Warriors and Carmelo made that shot that made them win, I was like, rise up, Carmelo Anthony fan club, because I am the new vice president. I'm not going to be the president because I'm not that much of a fan, but definitely a vice president. Probably more like treasurer secretary level, but definitely where I stand at, because like, how do you not like Carmelo? Like, yes, he had a slow start. Russ had a slow start. Even Anthony Davis had a slow start. Like, the team is figuring it out. And if they make a run in the playoffs, if they get in, good for them. If they don't, I still consider this season a success. We've seen Carmelo Anthony prove to all you weirdos out there that he still has it, that he's still in the game. And for everyone else, like, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. They're making money, a whole lot more money, and they're still getting butts in seats. Like, Matthew Stafford came out. I don't know what else to say. Yes, every time a Rams player comes up, LeBron plays amazing, and also the Lakers as a collective play amazing and win games. So maybe y'all should get like a Rams player to come for the rest of the home games this season. That's probably going to be a difficult task to do, as it is their off season. They're probably somewhere in Cancun, but maybe figure it out. I don't know. But that is all I have for this week. So make sure to like, comment, rate, subscribe wherever you decide to listen to your podcast today. Head on over to Instagram and follow at Her Sports Convo to stay up to date on all things Her Sports Convo. Check out the main channel, Her Sports Convo, on YouTube. I'm doing an entire March Madness college basketball series this month. Make sure you check it out. The first video went up this week, and it is all about how March Madness is changing and what they're giving to the women that they've always deserved in the past. Yeah, check out the Her Sports Convo podcast channel, which you can watch me talk to myself every single Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. Make sure you're tapped in. We got the men's conference championship this week, as well as the Big 12 women's basketball championship. I don't know. I've tried to figure that out for the past 2 days. I've given up personally. But as always, be safe, have fun, and don't be afraid to join the convo.